this episode can be summed up by the word lightsabers. Welcome to Voice, the Fat Mantis, and my review of episode 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, found only on Disney+. But before we do it, like, share, and subscribe. Please, man. I got that hot fire content, and I want to share it with you. Getting right into it. So this is definitely the best episode of the series so far. We've only got one episode left, meaning this is the penultimate one, and they finally decided to do a bunch of things that people wanted to see since probably episode 2. Every one of them involves lightsabers. If you're seeing good reviews or people praising this thing, it's not going to be the acting. It's not going to be the characterization. It's not going to be the production. It might not even be necessarily the fight choreography. It's just that lightsabers were whipping around. And that's what we're looking for in an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We finally have a series about a Jedi. So far, these blaster-wielding guys have had their series. We finally have a Jedi and yada, yada, yada. But now we're here and there's multiple lightsaber fights. And so I'm going to first get into what I liked about this episode. First thing, and I think that's what everyone is talking about, finally a flashback. And it's not a Clone Wars flashback like everyone would have thought. It's a flashback to the Padawan days of Anakin Skywalker. And it's all about a duel. Reiterates a concept we've seen in multiple movies and the Clone Wars, is that Anakin is very hyper cocky and he thinks he's always got it done and he's always about victory and he's shallow. He's very like on the shallow level, and Obi-Wan and him are dueling, but it's sparring dueling. And it was great. The choreography was actually good. It was great to see them in a scene together. It was great to have that flashback. I think probably before he was knighted. As a matter of fact, I think he lays a line at the end, and he's like, "You're still learning, and that is why you remain a Padawan." It's really great to see Hayden Christensen, and it's really great to see that kind of thing go on. Another thing that really struck me as awesome is the final confrontation with Reva and Darth Vader. She finally decides to act against him, and something is finally going down, and they have a fight. And although I would say I think other directors would have directed that scene better, it's good to see Vader just kicking ass. He's sideswiping, he's matrixing her, and he takes her weapon away from her and humiliates her. Grand Inquisitor proves to be alive. This has all been a Sith trap the entire time, and they stab her and leave her for dead. Now that was all. That was wonderful. It's so glad to see that kind of stuff go down. And finally, the third thing I'm going to say is something you're not going to see in anyone else's reviews, and I want to bring it back to this scene from Obi-Wan.
You know who we are.
Inquisitors.
You know what we do?
You hunt Jedi.
The Jedi hunt themselves. Do you know the key to hunting Jedi, friend? It is patience. Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail. Maybe he's looking for people like him. But the Jedi code is like an itch.
Now, if you notice, our man, the Grand Inquisitor, is going on about how a Jedi can't help himself. He is stuck doing good, and that's how he's able to either hunt themselves or able to catch you real easily. But that's also a comment about what he did to Reva, because a Darksider can't help themselves. Reva couldn't help but be duplicitous, so she turned on them, and all they had to do was sit around and wait for her to basically turn herself in. And I don't know if the writers were clever enough to spot that that's what happened, but that is what happened, and I really appreciate it. The reason why I don't think they were clever enough is they haven't been clever on anything else in this series. Now, those are the three things that I like so much. Now we're going to have to get into all the other stuff that I didn't like. So I remained not a lover of the show. I know I said that this is the best so far, but that's not saying much. It's not by far. It's not. I would still say this doesn't even hit an average episode of The Mandalorian. Well, that's not true. But anyway, the point is that to enjoy is that already the characterization and the plot and everything going on with Reva is so contrived, not well thought out, and just plain boring. Like, I don't care about any of the characters other than Obi-Wan. I might not even care about baby Leia. That it's hard to give a damn. That they're like, oh no, the poor families. I guess they're all force sensitive. That's a lot of force sensitive people who are running like scared bitches. But, they're like, oh, these poor people, we need to get the people out of here. And I'm like, do we really? Do we really? And I will say that, you know, examples of horrible writing are Reva has had no character development at all this entire time. They've had 4 episodes, and in the 5th episode, they have that scene where they walk up to the door and she reveals everything about herself. Why would she just drop that knowledge on someone who's been an enemy so far, a person she's been trying to hunt to the death? And so they're like, and should I care now? Or for instance, they put sad music when the officer Tala died, you know, Game of Thrones chick. The thing is, I know nothing about her, and she's done nothing but kind of just walk around and be a very cliche Star Wars character. I'm pretending to be an Imperial. Oh no, I'm different. I'm an Imperial pretending to be a rebel. I don't know what's going on there, but she was not a compelling character, so I don't really care about her or her stupid load-lifting droid dying. This is as stupid as I'd say Wade dying last episode, whoever the hell he was. I mean, those things are totally contrived. And the thing that bites me down to the core, that irritates me as a fan of Star Wars so much, is that Vader is the Dark Lord of the Sith. They prove that he was a badass in fighting, and he beats Reva and all these things. And he stabs her, and he walks away, and she survives. You're telling me the Dark Lord of the Sith isn't a master killer? That he wouldn't eviscerate her, cut her in half, or just force choke her to death and be done with it. But instead he leaves her with an ambiguous wound so she can come back and cause more problems. Another thing, it's a complete insult to lightsabers. If you're actually watching this series, lightsabers look like the least effective weapon the universe has ever had. You're telling me that both the Grand Inquisitor and Reva have been driven through with lightsabers and they didn't die? I might be more effective if I stabbed them with a spoon. They shouldn't have put Reva in a place where she was going to get stabbed by the Dark Lord of the Sith and survive it. That makes Darth Vader look bad, and it makes just the writing look bad. Like, she's driven in through a lightsaber, and then she goes over and she's like, let me check Obi-Wan's voice messages, which reveal the Tatooine, which, once again, another bad writing situation. And I gotta say, what really stands out about this episode that proves the incompetence of the rest of the productions is, honestly, why is this the first time we're getting a flashback? They could have had a flashback every episode. As a matter of fact, they should have. They should have started every episode with an Obi-Wan flashback, different moments with his life. I might even do a video about what flashbacks should have been in this show, and would have been not that expensive to film. It's crazy that they took this long to give us Hayden Christensen a flashback, or actually things about Obi-Wan in the story, since it's been about Leia and Reva. And as long as I'm complaining about the flashback situation, let's talk about this one particular flashback. It was excellent in every way except one thing. This man right here is supposed to be 19 years old in this flashback. Yo, bro, you are a 45-year-old man, and they didn't even put any effort in trying to de-age you. This show has a budget that averages $25 million an episode. That's right. They were given $150 million for the entire show. And you're telling me you can't do a little bit of special effects. That wouldn't even have cost you a lot. You don't even have to do a full deep fake. Lightening up his smile lines and like making him look a little younger would not have killed you, man. And so for those of you who are like, well, you know, it's $25 million, it'll disappear on you in a budget. It really will. However, I want to remind you that all the crazy stuff that happens weekly with The Mandalorian is done on half the budget. We get starfighter battles. We have cameos from other characters throughout the Star Wars universe. Expanded universe lore. A furthering of the mythology. Mandalorian does it all on half the budget. So you have literally no excuse to not CGI Anakin to look at least somewhat younger. Psst, amateurs. So honestly, I am not a big fan of this show, but I would say if you've been sticking around with it, you're going to enjoy this one. This one is definitely the cream of the crappy crop. But that's all I have to say about that. What did you guys think about it? Please let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And keep tuning in to Voice of the Fat Mantis for conversations, interviews, and analysis of all the nerd news and Star Wars stuff that's fit to print. Until next time, ciao for now.